Hi, everybody. Sorry to those that were in the SIG panel that did not get a break, but we rally. It is good to see you all back in here. I'm really excited for this topic. Marketing is how I got my start in music. So marketing always has a special place in my heart. I am so excited to piece together this panel full of incredibly smart and talented people working in really cool parts of the music marketing space. And so without further ado, I'm going to bring Gigi, our moderator, up so she can introduce our wonderful panelists. Hey, Gigi.
Hi, Christine. Hi, everybody. Hi, everybody. Very nice to see everybody. Thank you for joining us wherever you are from the world. I'm joining you guys from Saudi Arabia. It's pretty late in here. It's almost 11:30 p.m. And we're really excited to talk about music marketing. So we have our panelists here quickly. Illya Natesa, founder and CEO of I Love Your Records. We have Liam James Ward, co-founder and CEO of Something Something. And we have Blair Miller, founder of Chaos Creators Entertainment. And I'm your moderator today, Gigi Arabia, CEO and founder of Heavy Arabia Entertainment. So I'd like to ask our panelists if you can introduce yourself and share a bit about what you do. Would like to go first?
Happy Blair, to go first, 100%.
Okay, Liam,
Blair, yeah, go ahead. Okay, cool. I'll jump in, and then I'll let the better people go second and third. So, yeah, I'm Liam. I'm the CEO, co-founder of Something Something. We're a content strategy studio based out of London in the UK. We're about 3 years old. We came about basically because, when TikTok came about and short form content, became king in marketing. A lot of the companies, a lot of the labels, a lot of the agencies weren't keeping updated. And we came about as a bit of a disruptor in that space. So we work with artists directly, creating content and creating great social strategy to connect to their audiences, to connect to their fans and build that deeper connection.
Oh, wonderful. And Blair?
Perfect. Hi, I'm Blair. I'm in Nashville, Tennessee, and I'm the founder of Chaos Creators. Our focus is social media marketing and short form content creation. Similar to Liam, saw the need, helping artists with their content strategy. And yeah, so anything social media and short form content.
That's really exciting. Thank you so much for sharing, Blair. And Illya?
Hi, I'm Illya from ILY Records. I Love Your Records. I run a pop-up record store all around the world. So I'm based out of Singapore, but I'm dialing in from London. And then I do pop all around the world. And at the same time, I run my label services is going off soon. So that's exciting. Yeah, it's good to be here.
Awesome. That's really exciting. So I would like to get into the questions right away because we have a set of really good questions, and I hope that we go through all of them and take some questions from our audience. So the first question, can you each describe an innovative marketing campaign you've worked or you didn't but admire that really pushed the boundaries of traditional marketing?
Yeah, certainly. I mean, happy to jump in again because to start a bit of a banger, I mean, we actually marketed a porno last year, which was pretty disruptive and different way of working, not something I've ever done before. For a bit of context, those of you who might know an artist called Tommy Cash, he is, really, really kind of a irreverent Estonian artist who essentially is known for always kind of fucking it up and doing some crazy stuff. And around the time of the Olympics, he decided to produce a porn video for his new song, upload it to the website you can imagine it being on. I won't tell you to go check it out, but you can go and find it pretty easily. We made sure the SEO was good enough for that. And as you can imagine, marketing some adult inappropriate content on social media is really difficult. Tommy obviously knew his account would get pretty shadow banned if we were to do that. And so what we kind of ended up doing was we focused on two key things. We partnered with adult content creators, OnlyFans, Twitch, so onwards, and we also utilized a fan page burner account strategy to basically post all the stuff he couldn't. Essentially, that could mean, you know, Tommy sponsoring like 5-minute sections of a adult Twitch streamers content, and you know that I'd say like Tommy Cash's Power Hour, let's say, and they play the song over the top, play the video, react to the video. But additionally, we love a bit of discourse, we love a bit of just kind of doing something a bit differently. So in addition to starting a bunch of Tommy superfan accounts where we would again say and post all the things he wouldn't post on his own channels, because if that account got pulled down, who really cares? We can move on, start a new one. We started a bit of a false narrative that essentially the BBC had accidentally aired this Olympics-themed porno instead of the real Olympics live on BBC, filming TVs, you know, having like basically tapping into the fact that people love to get pretty pissed off about things. And yeah, just using that as a bit of a tactic to, you know, get people geared up, getting people checking out what we were doing. And I guess the only other thing I'll throw on the end of that is it is worth me saying that Tommy worked with an ethical porn company to make sure that everything around that was above board as possible and that, you know, everyone was treated properly.
Oh, that's really interesting. And I heard that Twitch has now become a thing in music marketing, and in the targeting of audience is almost always very accurate and relevant. I want to see if Blair has done something similar with Twitch or with super fan pages or anything similar.
I haven't done anything like that with Twitch, but when it comes to tying together creator pages, one campaign I loved was I had an up-and-coming Latin pop artist doing her first song with a feature, and the feature was Pitbull. And so the song is released and there wasn't a huge amount of support behind it. And of course, to get a huge artist like Pitbull to support a smaller song, something has to be moving. So that was my time to step in and figure out how can we make this move. And I think I'd seen maybe 1 or 2 videos on social media, and it was Zumba dancers around the world doing the video. So I started reaching out to different Zumba influencers around the world, asking them to post using the song. And then I came up with this pseudo worldwide video concept where all of these Zumba influencers in all these different countries came together. I think there were 12 to 14 different influencers, and combine this video of all of them dancing and what they were teaching in class. So it was also their students dancing. And so they were sharing the song. They were, you know, posting the videos, posting the official video. And then it started getting picked up on, you know, the Spotify Zumba editorial playlist, and the song started moving, and, you know, Pitbull started sharing. And so it was fun to tap into those different creators.
Wow, that's pretty cool. Were they shared to all different platforms like TikTok, Instagram, YouTube Shorts? Where did you see it pick up most?
Yes, the focus was on TikTok, Instagram, and then YouTube.
Right. Oh, thank you for sharing. That's pretty cool. And Illya?
Okay, I think one of my favorite, I love so many campaigns that people do, especially if it's really unique ones. But one of my favorite bands over here, as you can see, Sleep Token is a British metal band, and I, all the way in Southeast Asia, was gunning from them since the start. But in 2019, what they did was a sundowning campaign that lasted 6 months, because every fortnight, when the sun goes down, they drop a song off every single from the whole album. So everything, including merch as well as emblems, everything you can think of drops at every fortnight. So what happens is that this whole campaign stretch out for 6 months. There's a ritual where it's a form of like fan forming up into a community, and we all come for the ritual every fortnight. So it sounds very cultish, but it kind of is, but it's not. It's this whole idea with the band and the fact that they wear masks. So it's really the whole identity of what can become when you stretch out a campaign and think out of the box of the usual thing of a Friday drop, and actually drop every single and that is attached with merch. Because I myself do merch and also pitch for bands who love dabbling on very unique creative ways of marketing their music. So this is an example of one of my favorite bands who did it greatly and ended up now having like a cult following all around the world. And that's not even the album that made them huge. The album that made them huge was the one after. But I keep always go back to this particular album, Sundowning, because it's just the whole mythology lore that attracts people from all around the world, because we love when a band makes the effort not just to make great music, but goes the extra mile to make sure everyone in the world from different time zone actually tap on all their songs. So I think that was pretty cool. Yeah. So if you don't know Sleep Token, go check them out, Sleep Token, and hopefully I'll carry their merch soon. Yeah.
That's really, really cool. So since all of you shared marketing campaigns that you've either worked or you just admired, I want to ask, how do you measure the success of non-traditional marketing tactics? So for example, how did you measure the success of those marketing campaigns, especially when they diverge so much from traditional marketing? Liam.
I can just add on to what I just shared. Yeah, because for example, when I was looking at that campaign, what was building up was the community. So this was before things got before Discord. So we were like a group on Facebook, and the Facebook group exploded. So I think it's good to see the numbers, not just in terms of streaming where you can check on chart metrics and stuff like that, but rather how big the community is growing from all parts of the world. So that's how you know the impact of it, and that's how you see that it translates not just from one platform. So after Facebook, so I'm considered old to be on the Facebook group, but then people got on the Discord group, and actually seeing not just numbers. I think maybe post-COVID, you'll see people coming out for shows. Selling out shows is a good way of showing the success post-campaign of that record. So it's good to see numbers, not just the data, not just from chart matrix, but actually extrapolating it and then reflecting it on the actual people turning up for shows and people you can connect with. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, just following on from that as well, I think, for us, I'm going to say something I never say. Our metric for success was views, because we had a very, very obvious endpoint in our campaign, right? We were trying to create all of this noise at the top of the funnel, and we were driving people towards one specific point, which was the video. So therefore, views in that instance was a metric for success. The reason I say you'll never really hear me say that, anyone who's ever seen me speak or spoken to me ever will know that I will never say that, because it's too easy when you kind of get into TikTok campaigns, short form video campaigns, to only look at that. And I actually, outside of that one particular campaign, would always tell you to look outside of that, look at depth, look at conversion, look at the level of engagement. I actually, more than anything, which actually does relate back to that campaign as well, I would look at the share rate more than anything else. Because, what is the level of depth someone's willing to do? Talking specifically about social, of course, buying tickets and, doing things like that is way, way more valuable. But if you're going to look at views, likes, comments, where a comment might just be like a fire emoji or something, takes no effort at all. If someone's seen a piece of content or seen a tweet or an X or an Instagram story or whatever it may be, and they've taken the effort to share that post to 1, 3, 5, 10 of their friends, it must have really resonated with them. And therefore, as we all know, algorithmically, that's going to have the biggest knock-on effect to the performance of that content as well. I think that's why Instagram started putting the amount of shares on a post into the actual post themselves as of about, was it a year ago? Maybe a little bit longer. Hard to keep track of time nowadays. But yeah, long story short, share rate's really important. But then onwards from there, actual conversion.
Right. Yeah. I think sharing does give you an idea of how many active listeners there are, as opposed to just passive listeners who are not really interacting with the music content that they're looking at.
On social, Yeah, definitely. I agree completely. And I think, something I've been saying more and more lately is how we're growing presence. At the end of the day, like growing one profile's followers or whatever it may be is really great. But we all know 1 million followers on a TikTok account doesn't actually mean 1 million views. You can get 1 million followers and get 10 views, and you can have 10 followers and get 1 million views. It's so backwards in that way. So therefore, just trying to grow that one count doesn't mean anything. If you're trying to grow your presence with, some of the marketing tactics all three of us have already discussed via partnerships, PR, all these other things that essentially, rather than going depth on one point, go really wide and present. I think that's so much more impactful nowadays.
Yeah, absolutely. And Blair, how do you measure the success? Sorry.
Yes, no. Going off of that, also just any of the social commentary around it. So paying attention to what the comments are saying, if they are asking for more, how positive the reaction is, how it's performing to other content. The campaign I talked about, it was an artist that had a smaller social presence and someone that I don't think she'd ever gone viral before. So it was, the standard performance and seeing how these campaigns performed compared to past campaigns. And then also looking at, if we are trying to make this happen in the Zumba world, like what videos are being recreated to it? Is it following what we thought might happen? Or if it's an organic trend that is starting, are we properly capitalizing on it and pushing it forward? So those are the things I look at.
Very interesting. So would you say that these marketing, or let's assume that all of these marketing campaigns that you mentioned were high budget, but not every artist or brand has a major marketing budget. So what are some low cost but high impact marketing tactics that you've seen work well?
I mean, just jumping real quick, because I feel like it's quite direct. Community management.
Yeah.
I say to our team all the time, community management is one of the easiest and cheapest ways to engage directly with a fan. And by that, I mean, replying to comments, replying to DMs, finding, just not within just your existing community, finding relevant artists or relevant conversations outside of your audience to go and speak to and engage with people. It's super easy to sit there for 20 minutes a day and reply to comments and go and find conversations to engage in. You're directly reaching out and grabbing someone's hand there and asking them to come through. That's worth so much more, but no one does it. No one spends as much time on it as they should do because it's grunt work. Sitting there and just replying to comments, ain't that fun? Sure. I mean, you can make it fun if you really want to. That's really key. We actually, as of yesterday, just got a top 5 album with a band called the Wombats, which we're really happy about. Worked with that band for a long time. So to have another win with them is always really great. And, I kept hammering at home to the team. We need to be going on all of their music videos from the past 20 years of them being a band. We need to go back through, UGC on songs that they've had in the past that have performed really well. And we need to be replying to every comment we possibly can, ideally trying to let them know we've got a new album out. Try and not keep it too spammy, try and keep it feeling individual and in their own tone. But, ultimately reaching out to people who maybe only posted a video 3 years ago on like a relevant artist or whatever it may be, pulling them back into the here and now.
So to summarize, you're saying direct to fan, basically marketing.
To an extent, yeah, but not even necessarily your existing fans. Going and replying to comments, tweets, stories, whatever it may be, on relevant conversations. One that people always miss, geotags on Instagram. If you knew Pitbull played at the O2 last night and you've got a song that's relevant to Pitbull, you should be getting on the O2 Instagram geotag and be smashing every single post that's got anything to do with that. Because that is an easy, you can go and spend 10 grand on ad strategy to try and get in front of those people, or you can spend 10 minutes directly going and get in front of those people, you know what I mean? But again, people don't do it because it's proper hands dirty work.
Yeah, that's true. Blair, what would you say is something that you would recommend for artists or brands that are low on budget?
Yeah. I mean, I love everything that Liam just said. And building off of that, I think if you can do a small campaign in real life that is low budget that you can then replicate online, that is a fun way. Like if you can think of a concept that promotes your song, and say you can only, go down to Broadway in Nashville and do a small campaign there, that's only going to hit the people that are seeing it. But if you can find a way to bring it online, then everyone's able to see it and participate.
Right. So you say duplicate, basically. Do something, test it. If it's successful, you just duplicate it virtually.
Well, just, making sure that you're able to capture whatever the small IRL activation is, so that it's not just the people that are in the exact location with you that are feeling the impact of whatever you're creating with your small budget.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah, thank you so much, Blair. And Illya, what would you say?
Yeah, I think one of if most of us are on Instagram. If you're not really use the function of close friends, you see that with Billie Eilish, but I myself also have used it for my own brand as ILY Records, where I create my own with the same concept, same back end, different front end. When you're talking about working with different different artists, you always think about ways that if it works, like what Blair said, if it works, you try to replicate it. So what I did as well when I was forming up my own fan base, was are we really close friends on my close friends list? So it's pretty much like everyone is my close friends, but you forming that fan base and that's exclusivity with the idea of fan building, and then giving them like the first tips, because they'll be the first one getting pinged, and I have friends texting me like, "Oh, are you launching something? Oh, what's going on?" Like, I think creating the anticipation and they are a part of what you're doing, even though they don't know what you're up to, is really cool, and it's free. It's free. You just sit down and click everyone to be on your close friends. I see that with artists doing it, and you can think about adding that to your marketing campaign as well, because, or like if you want to launch something that or give them behind the scenes exclusive content, it doesn't have to cost a lot if you think of things creatively and how you can market to your own fans so they feel included. So yeah, use your close friends.
Awesome. So we have about 10 minutes before our panel finishes. I have specific questions to basically all of our panelists here. I have a specific question for Blair. With so much emphasis on short form content and viral moments, how do you balance quick wins with long-term artist growth and fan engagement?
So when I'm talking with an artist about a release campaign or even just the content for the week, we're thinking about what the goals of the content are. So is the goal to sell something, or is the goal to share more of the personality, or is the goal to create an engagement moment between the artist and the fan? So when you have those goals ahead of time, it's easier to kind of like handle the outcome of the content. So say a video doesn't go viral. Well, we didn't put that video out for it to go viral. That was actually something to create a relationship with the existing fans. So I think having a purpose behind the content and really setting goals and having a strategy behind what you put out and knowing, this could be a piece that could potentially go viral. That would be a goal. And then you can analyze, yes, it went viral. Yes, it performed better. No, it really didn't perform. But also just being able to, gauge what the result should be.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Awesome. My next question is for Liam and Blair. Sorry, Liam. Let's start with Liam. You're both working to reach a Gen Z audience. Can you talk about why fan accounts and short form content works so well with this audience, Liam?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I think Blair covered off short form pretty well there, so I don't mind taking the fan account side of that a little bit more. I'd be interested in, I'm paying some attention to the comments here at the same time, not trying to seem too distracted, but I'd love to know if people have heard being told fan account strategies is something they should be doing much lately, purely because I think on my little pocket of the industry, it's everywhere, but it's the classic thing where when you're in it, right, it just feels everywhere. But I'd love to know how much that's trickling into various other industries, but parts of the industry. But the reason why I think fan accounts is really important is it's essentially allowing different perspectives on an artist, and it's allowing people to kind of have a slightly decentralized campaign. To give a little bit more clarity as to what that means, obviously somewhat pretty much every artist has an Instagram channel, a TikTok channel, and there are two ways that people are accounting fan accounts now, and we're doing both. It's worth saying. First and foremost, setting up your own fan accounts, whether that's accounts that are fans of your artist, whether that's more HQ channels where it's known that it's a label voice talking on their behalf. Noah Kahan, Harry Styles being really great examples of HQs, or whether it's, a genre page, or it's a page that, for example, we have a great page that is 90s rom-coms with love songs on top, different love songs on top, and that's one of the most successful fan accounts that we run. So there's so many different kinds of ways of doing it that you can set up yourself. But the second side of it is obviously partnering with existing or more organic fan accounts. There's a handful of artists that we work with. Some of them I'm not allowed to talk about too much because people don't like you knowing that their fan accounts are a little bit more strings and wires in the background. But long story short, we're working with a handful of our artists to engage directly with the fan leaders who might be running the Mexico fan page, might be running the Southeast Asian equivalent of a fan account over there. And, we're feeding them exclusive content. We're giving them a Google Drive of like, here's a bunch of stuff that is good enough to be on social, but maybe the artist themselves isn't using it, whether that's shed loads of iPhone clips from a show or whether it's some offcuts from a photo shoot that aren't quite A tier. And we're also, even in some instances, making a really, really skeleton calendar that might say, we're announcing a European tour on this date. And then the fans themselves feel so included, and they're building their own strategy for the page that they run and pour love into. And we're helping them feel more part of it so they can actually develop that. And those things all start to plug into each other. For the most successful campaigns we're doing right now in this space, there's a bit of a hierarchy where, we've got the main artist channel. We've got a bunch of accounts that we run that, obviously get exclusive access to things that, don't exist on the internet yet. And then there's a tier there as well of people who are running these regionalized organic fan pages, and they all plug into each other, and the fans can step into that world. And whereas, what Blair was talking about with short form, with the intention of a video, if you're looking at a TikTok profile, let's say, and you've got 9 videos and this one is trying to do this and this one's trying to do that, it paints a bit of a picture. Sure, they're all individual brush strokes of one painting, but now we're talking about getting into a gallery where we've got so many different paintings, so many different accounts that are setting a wider tone, a wider mood of what that artist is trying to do. Happy to go into more or less detail there because I could talk about fan accounts till the cows come home, but there's a bunch of stuff on the internet of me talking about it, so I won't bore anyone too much by being repetitive.
Thank you so much for sharing, Liam. Illya, I want to ask about I Love Your Records. So since it stands out with its unique pop-up record store concept, how has this physical yet transient presence helped in building a brand identity and customer loyalty?
Oh, yeah, great question. Because half the time everyone's asking where's home for me, but it's everywhere. Yeah, the fact that I Love Your Records is transient and I can pop up anywhere in the world, it also means I can carry from everywhere all around the world. And it's exciting for me, for example, when I'm in Manila, I found a Delta Sleep version over there, or like an Architects version in Manila, just because I carry those records and I can pop up anywhere in the world. So you do realize like globalization can make things both small and big at the same time. Like the world is so huge. There's so many places you have yet to visit, but at the same time, like we can pop up anywhere in the world and carry music, and it's a form of marketing that we always think about traditional record stores as something very physical and always like dependent on high rent and stuff like that. For record stores are actually closing down, but independent stores, we can think about it Well, you can more mobile, like how music is. Music is very mobile already. So why can't a record store be mobile? I can pop up at a 90-year-old birthday party if I want to in Berlin, where I don't speak Deutsch. You know, something very different, out of the box. And the music that I carry, and then where the people that I meet, they'll be very interested to find out, oh, who is this? I've never heard this band, Amateur Takes Control from Singapore. What do they sound like? I want to buy it. I want to listen to it, because I think what I'm doing is I'm bringing music to fans that you don't necessarily reach. And I carry music that don't usually get the attention from main record stores, who might be looking at numbers, might be looking at potential audience. So I think with that in mind, and being mobile and being able to do that, I can work with whoever I want, whatever I want. And at the same time, it's exciting when I'm able to bring this music to new fans from different countries, and I like the fact that I always talk about how, like, from where I come from, whereby you don't have to be embarrassed that you're singing in your own mother tongue, or you're singing in Tanglish or in Filipino and English, because Sigaros. People don't speak Icelandic, but we all love Sigaros. And so with that in mind, that concept that your music is exportable and to other regions, you will actually, like now I'm working with a Deutsch artist, Karamuru, and he was so adamant to have two, like an English version and an English edit as well as a Deutsch. But I feel like his Deutsch rap would be much more marketable, and not just because it's his identity, but it's who you are and who you want to market yourself. And you should be, I think half the time, 70%, like 30% is the A&R work. 70% is encouraging all my artists, like, hey, you got this, empowering them that their music actually stands out. So yeah, on the talk of like me doing the pop-up record store, I love the fact that I can work with everybody I love all around the world.
Yeah. It really reminds me of this indie record store that we have here in Riyadh, and it works just as well. It's pretty interesting. Thank you so much, everybody, for sharing all of your interesting insights. We're gonna start taking questions from our audience. We have about 5 minutes left. All right, so our first question is from William. What are the strategies to market music on Twitch? What methods can be used by indie artists? I think, Liam, can you answer this?
Yeah, for sure. I think Twitch is a really interesting space, right? I mean, it's essentially a social media platform like the others, but it's more focused on that live video rather than kind of edited videos and so onwards. So I think, honestly, almost everything that we've spoken about here still applies to Twitch. Don't think of it as too different, you know.
Yeah.
I think what I've gone on about community management, you know, getting into the comments, let's bear in mind we're essentially almost doing a Twitch stream here, and there's so many comments. If I wasn't busy speaking, I'd be replying to all of these and engaging and so onwards. And what's stopping you as an artist going on to, whether it's a music artist stream or whether it's the sort of people that you think are relevant in your audience, whether they're gamers or whether they're talking about movies, whatever it is, find the people who are relevant for your audience and go into the comments and engage, you know, go and engage with the people, because that's a fish in a barrel there of people who are into something that is relevant. They're probably going to be into music, so go and get them. You know, I think that's really key, which you know, touches onto another point of just finding the niches that are relevant for you. You know, there's an age-old marketing saying that if you're speaking to everybody, you're speaking to nobody. And I think that's truer than ever on this
100%.
big old internet. You know, if you're trying to talk to everyone, you're just going to get washed away. Whereas if you're like, my fans are like teenage German rockers who love Doctor Who, I'm sure you can find that niche, you can find that pocket on Twitch or any other platform and just go hell and high water in on it via community management or via partnerships, like I mentioned. But just try and keep it authentic, try and keep it niche, try and keep it specific. And then, again, the people you're talking to, spending your time, effort, and marketing budget on are actually relevant. Your cost per acquisition, to again use a slightly marketing term, your cost per acquisition, whether that's time or money, is pretty damn low.
Thank you so much, Liam. Our next question is from Donovan. For any or all, how do you balance targeting high impact, short form content and social media marketing with the longevity and long term success of a release artist beyond socials? Or does that fall outside of your review? Blair, would you like to answer this?
Yes. I'm just rereading it.
High impact.
So when it comes to this any content that we create with the long-term thought process in mind. So when it comes to thinking about like artists like a Taylor Swift or a Sabrina Carpenter or Lil Nas X, like how all of their campaigns are impactful, but you see the long-term goal and journey. So I try to encourage my clients not to do anything just for virality, because it's typically not a campaign that they want to stick with and keep building on. So now you've gotten a bunch of followers that aren't going to interact with the content that you actually want to put out. So when we are coming up with content that we want to be high impact, we are thinking about the long-term brand and trying to stay away from anything that might just be viral in the moment. I'm not sure if that fully answers the question, but if you all have anything else to add to that as well.
I think that does take care of it. I think we lost Gigi, but I'm here, so we're good. Cool. We'll ask one more question. Let's see. Let's see. Oh, this is a fun one. Letting this one, Zach. Illya, since we haven't heard from you, do you want to take this one? And the question is, with social platforms introducing direct messaging optimization and data showing that younger audiences are prone to sharing content privately versus publicly, how has your content strategy and social copy adjusted?
Oh, this is exciting. Because I have an artist recently who sent me a voice note and I enjoyed it and actually voice note back as well. I don't know if he did it with all of his fans, but I think he did. So yeah, I think yeah, different generation. Some might find it I don't think it's offensive at all. I think it's more like it bridges the gap between you and as an artist and your fan. So direct messaging, whether it's a voice note or like directly just messaging like your name, like you as on the other line. You just think from a fan perspective, because I myself am a fan and a consumer. I love the extra touch of personalization and customization, knowing that my artists are actually reaching to their fans. It's no longer multiple barriers between the artists and the fans. Instead, they are actually reaching out. So utilizing this is always good. And this, of course, the social copy changes because it doesn't sound like and hey everybody, but instead like, hey, how are you, this is my song, I want you to hear it, let me know what you think, because this is exactly what the artist did to me as well, asking me for feedback. And then and it wasn't because I'm a label, but firstly I am a fan, I'm a huge fan. So knowing that my the involvement of fans and the artists, we are listening both ways. I think the fans are listening to the musicians are listening to fans, and also customizing the way they reach each other. And I think this form of engagement is only we're just gonna bridge this gap closer and closer. And over time, we'll start doing something else that will be even more intimate between the artist and the fans. Yeah.
I love that. Liam, Blair, I'm sure you have way more to add to that question, and I wish we had time for it. But I think that's a wonderful way to end things. Gigi, welcome back. We're all good. Thank you all so much for your insights, for your strategies, for doing really cool stuff. I loved hearing about it from everyone. And it's good to see you, friends. This is great. With that, you guys are all done. Thank you so much. Thank you, Gigi, for being our moderator. Thank you, Liam. Thank you, Blair. Thank you, Illya, who's hanging out at Abbey Road Studios for the weekend with our hackathon participants. I love that for you. Thank you guys so much. We're heading over to our keynote session next. So see you over there.
Of course. Thanks for having us, Christine.
Bye.
Guys.
Bye-bye.
All right, guys. So we're going to go into our 2 keynote sessions next. So head over to watch Sherry Hugh talk about the future and past of music and tech. See you guys over there.